Good morning, students. I'm Hotenge Kalem, and I'll be your teacher for the day. And today we are going to look at English language. And as students, you are going to explore a lot of things in this lesson. And directly, we shall go to the content of the day. And we are going to start, as you can see on your screen, we're going to start by exploring language and which is a fundamental aspect of human existence. So, as a fundamental aspect of human existence, we are going to learn and understand the significance, the structure, and evolution of language. So, directly, we shall start. Language is a fundamental aspect of human existence, serving as a primary tool for communication, expression, and connection among individuals and communities. So, what does that mean? Or how do you understand it as a student? Without language, we are going to have an impossible for us to communicate. And if, what we are also doing here is learning, but is through the passing of communication from the teacher to the students. And so that is one aspect and of communication, and that's one also importance of communication. Apart from that, after we have understood that, we can go to the next part, that is introduction to language on our PPT as it can be seen on our screen. So the first thing we are going to start is we shall look at the definition of language. How do you understand language? What is language? Language is an accepted mode of communication. As I said earlier, language is used to pass the communication, to pass the information, to pass the ideas and etc. Therefore, should be an accepted mode that is used within a certain group of people or within a certain community. That means that language differs from one community to another, from one group of people to another. So that's all about what language is. And also, um, language doesn't just encompass a spoken thing, but can also be a written, can also be an nonverbal, which is and when we say nonverbal, this can be the use of gestures and other symbols or signs that can be used for communication. So, importance of language is number one, it is used in communication, and that's communication, as I explained earlier. It is the passing of information. For example, what we are doing now, because I'm teaching you, I'm passing the communication and the information or the ideas to you as students. And also we have the expression, someone can be able to express him or herself, uh, and also it is a connection, because when the language is used, there is a connection between these two people. There is something that they are sharing in common. And we shall go to our third page, and that is language as communication. And at this, the core purpose is conveying thoughts, ideas, emotions, and information. Thoughts, ideas, emotions, and information. This is what all people communicate. You can communicate to people to convey thoughts. You can communicate to people to convey ideas. You can communicate to people to convey emotions or to pass an information. So this one helps us to facilitate human civilization, and also that's through sharing of experiences and beliefs. So through sharing of experiences and beliefs, we are able to facilitate the human civilization. On our fourth page is cultural identity, and I said earlier that every community has a different accepted mode of communication or language. Every community has its own language, and language does not necessarily means a spoken, but can also be non-spoken. So there is the role of language is can be in shaping of the cultural identity. When you get someone using some words from one community may differ from the other community, and every language serves a different purpose in each community. So the diverse language reflecting world views and histories. So every community has different world views and also have different histories. And therefore the language is the one that it is used to reflect these world views and histories. And histories, this can be the chronological account of events from one time or one period of time to the other one. And also, it has a deep intertwining with culture, traditions, and shared narratives. We have some of the narratives which differ from one community to another, and some of the narratives can be, for example, legendary narratives. And these legendary narratives, you find that every community has created its own. These narratives can be either true or fantasy, but all the same, they have a certain purpose that has to pass through the generations in the certain community. Uh, and also, it has a connection and cooperation. Language as a bridge for understanding and cooperation. Without language, you cannot bridge you as individuals, because language breaks the barrier and helps you to communicate, to talk, to understand the other person. So it facilitates collaboration, problem solving, and community building, essential for teamwork and also social interaction. So assume you are in a place whereby there is no communication, and you people, you need to work together. How are you going to do this? How are you going to facilitate this? And even through communication, that's why you are in this lesson now, because I communicated and you knew that at this time, at this particular time, we are going to have this class, this session at this particular time. And now that promotes teamwork and also social interaction. We shall go to the next page on our sixth one, and that is the preservation of knowledge. Through the use of communication or language as a medium of passing down knowledge and traditions, people are able to preserve the knowledge. And how are you going to preserve this knowledge? Doesn't mean that you must have it in your head, but you pass it through the generations. For example, what I'm doing now, I'm passing the knowledge to you students. And the way I'm passing the knowledge to you students, you also pass the same knowledge to the other people. So you find that the knowledge is being preserved and also ensuring the continuity of wisdom, stories, and lessons. So the lessons should ever continue, and also storytelling shall continue. And in storytelling, we discussed something like the narratives. And these narratives, you find that they were passed from generations to generations, and also wisdom. So that is a preservation of knowledge. And also the significance of language. We have a personal expression through language. You can easily express yourself. What are you thinking about? What do you want? And language also as a fundamental of education. Through language, we can pass education. Just the way I'm doing it now is only for the use of language, and that's why we can be able to learn. And on importance, another importance also in professional success, influence, diplomacy, and globalization. Let's look at the third thing, and that's the structure of language. And at the structure of language, we have the following. We have we're going to look at the syntax. We also have this we have the phonetics, we have the syntax, we have semantics and pragmatics. And under the pragmatics, that is the use of language in different contexts. And also in syntax, this is the structure of a sentence. And phonetics, these are the sounds. And also have grammar, vocabulary, and syntax I had said earlier, semantics, pragmatics. So we are going to look at the ninth is language evolution. And language has evolved from generations to generations because of various aspects. So language is dynamic and not static. New words, shifting meanings, adaptation to cultural and technological changes. As you students, we have some of the words that never used to mean what you understand now. And this has encompasses some language like Sheng. You find a certain word that which was used earlier, meaning different from what now you understand at this generation. So it has kept on shifting meanings so that it can adapt to cultural and technological changes. And also, we are going to look at the importance of studying language evolution. The language evolution, this is the change of language from one period of time to the other. And through this time, we have been having shift of meanings and shifting of meanings of words. And doesn't mean that neither that language was inferior nor superior to the language that we are using now or you are using now. This language is also neither inferior or superior to the other language. So by understanding that, you can be able to appreciate the earlier and also this language that we are using now. Lastly, that is using language effectively. So language is a regional and cultural variations. There are some of the words that mean different from one region or from one cultural community to the other one. So before you use a language, you must be considerate to be able to understand what does this word mean at this context, at this place, at this community from to the other one. So that helps you also to be an effective communicator. And you must also be able to understand the language structure. Every language has its own structure. And for example, in English language, we use the SVO. And the SVO means that is subject, verb, object. So the subject must follow a verb and a verb then to follow an object. You cannot start with the OVS or VOS. That means that in English language, we don't accept verb to come before a subject and a subject and now an object to finish it. So you must have a subject verb object agreement. I ate chapati. That is an example of an SVO sentence. You cannot say that ate I chapati or chapati ate I. In English language, we don't accept that, but you will find that every language has its own structure. Therefore, you must be able to understand the structure so that you can be able to construct a correct sentence. And if you don't understand the structure of a sentence, that means even if we give you a dictionary of any community, so that you keep on reading that dictionary of a community and understanding the meaning of those words, that does not necessarily give you a flow path to correct accepted phrases and sentences. That means that you don't need just to understand the meaning of a word, but how to construct sentences and phrases. And by that, students, we get to the end of our lesson. And I want to thank you for participating actively. See you next time. Thank you.